After everything went down with Telltale, unfortunately, a couple games were removed from the PlayStation Store, but one excellent one is making a comeback in Tales from the Borderlands, as officially confirmed by the Borderlands Twitter account. We'll talk about that. Final Fantasy VII Remake is rumored to be coming to PlayStation 5 and also PC. Well, there's a trademark that's just been filed by Square Enix, and now it's been expanded to also cover the US. We'll talk a little bit about that. And the Space Station Simulation game Base 1 has been announced for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, X1, Switch, and PC, so literally coming out on everything. We'll talk that in just a little bit. But yes, after everything went down with Telltale, it was just an unfortunate set of events. Thankfully, everything got remedied at this point, and now games are returning to the storefront, and Tales from the Borderlands will be returning on February 17th. Now, the majority of titles, I believe, are already back, but Tales from the Borderlands was missing. There are physical copies available, so it's not like it was impossible to get a copy of the game, but yeah, the game was absent from the PlayStation Store, but now it will be coming to the PlayStation Store so you can play it again. Tales from the Borderlands might not be the one that Telltale is the most known for. I feel like The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us gets the most attention, but Tales from the Borderlands I thought was excellent. It was a hilarious game, so if you just want to chill out and play a game that you don't have to take too seriously, I would highly recommend you to play it. Now, don't pick it up for 15 bucks. But when it goes on sale for south of $5, I do really believe it's a great pickup, and I'd give it a strong recommendation. So check it out for yourself. And if you're a fan of Borderlands, the IP itself, and you like elements of the world, you're definitely going to enjoy the game a bit more. Just bear that in mind, but yeah, that'll be coming 1 week from today on February 17th. It'll be returning. I shouldn't be saying it's coming, but you guys get the idea. Okay, Final Fantasy VII Remake. A lot of discussion regarding this, an upgraded version on the PlayStation 5 that might just be more than a simple upgraded resolution or a slight graphical boost. Might be having more story content or DLC or something like that, but off the back of a number of trademark listings from Square Enix that went public last month relating to FF7 Remake, the Ever Crisis term has now been expanded to also cover the US. It was filed 6 days ago, and that means the trademark covers Japan, Europe, Canada, Australia, as well as America. There's no other recent trademarks coming out of Square Enix, the First Soldier and the Shinra logo, at the time of recording. You guys can check out the full post by Push Square. They have a detailed pretty well. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think it's a foregone conclusion that it will be coming to PlayStation 5 and probably PC. I just think Square Enix knows that they can continue to re-release these games, and I think in FF7's case, from a business standpoint, I don't think this is going to be one where it's going to be a simple free upgrade. I think it's going to be either you have to buy the game again entirely, or it's going to be a pay-to-play upgrade. Maybe a $10 to $20 upgrade or something like that, just because Square Enix knows that they have those franchises they can rely on, whether it be a Kingdom Hearts, whether it be a Dragon Quest, whether it be a Final Fantasy, that those franchises are always going to do really well, and then they have these other games they're working on, these other IPs. You have your Outriders of the world, The Quiet Man, Left Alive, that sometimes they don't do that well, or Outriders in that case, Outriders at this point is still, up in the air, but you guys get the idea. They go for the other IPs that sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. Left Alive didn't do all too well. Quiet Man didn't do all too well. Hopefully Outriders does really, really well, and that game will be a success. But with their surefire successes, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and Dragon Quest, they can re-release those games, man. You guys know how many times they've re-released Kingdom Hearts. They've re-released Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 10, all of those Final Fantasy games they release over and over again, and I understand why. It's just a great revenue stream for them, and it's a consistent revenue stream where there is some inconsistency with some of their other releases. It just makes all the sense in the world. Those Japanese games just do really well from Square Enix, and then you look at Final Fantasy XIV, obviously, that is a fantastic revenue stream for them. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, I do think a PC release of that is going to sell incredibly well, and I do think a PlayStation 4 version, if they do add a little bit of content here and there, it doesn't have to be, obviously, a segue into Part 2. It doesn't have to be anything crazy like that, but enough content to just push people a little bit to maybe pay that additional amount of money to even buy the game again, because Final Fantasy VII does have that ardent, hardcore fan base where they probably will buy the game a second time. Maybe I'm pushing it a little bit too much. I don't think everybody would buy it a second time, but I think some people would underestimate how deep the fandom is rooted. I do think Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of those games where there's gonna be a lot of double dipping involved, and just think about that. If Square Enix can pull off a way to get people to remake on to double dip on episode 1 of the remake. I mean, they've just figured it out. They took Final Fantasy VII, split it up into a bunch of games, and then got people to start double dipping on each of the separate parts. I mean, that is just an amazing move from a business standpoint. Yes, it's kind of wild to think about, but at that point, I'm gonna be like, alright, bro, you got it. I respect the hustle. You got, like, all this money from the FF7 IP. You got it, bro. You got it. But that might be a little bit pushing the cart before the horse, probably doing that a lot, so we'll see how things turn out. Hey, maybe they'll be super cool and everybody will get a free upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version. That would be awesome, and I would give Square Enix a lot of credit for that. I just think there is a lot of money to be had, and there's a lot of money on the table, but I know a lot of people would be like, bro, why are you even bringing that up? There should not be any of this double dipping involved with FF7 Remake, and I agree with you. I'm just thinking about it from a logical standpoint, from Square Enix viewpoint. Okay, lastly, I do want to note that the Space Station simulation game in Base 1 has been announced for pretty much every major platform. It'll be coming to PS5 Series, PS4, X1, Switch, and PC. It's actually coming from publisher Blowfish Studios. Developer is Pixfroze, and they've announced the game for Q2 of 2021. The overview of the game notes, Base 1 is a space station simulator with hardcore survival and RPG mechanics. Step into the role of intrepid explorers seeking to build new homes across far reaches of the cosmos, establish new colonies by building space stations, managing vital needs like heat, oxygen, and power while searching for valuable resources in uncharted wilds. Overcome a range of trials in a story-driven campaign set against a backdrop of socio-political drama where special interests and the powerful stand much to gain from the final frontier. Balance each station's need while researching and unlocking new technology that will ensure the long-term success and viability of human presence in the region. The game notes story-driven, complete difficult missions, and save your home planet for a terrible threat. Time management, plan scientific research, organize resource extraction, processing, and production, and realistic simulation. Manage your crew and supplies and defend your station. So, an interesting title nonetheless. Probably not going to get a lot of buzz around the time of its release, just because if it is coming around that May, June, July period, I do think there's going to be quite a few games coming during that period. Maybe I'm wrong. I would imagine that that's where some of these games that were initially pegged for early 2021 are going to be moved to that time period, but might be wrong as far as that's concerned. But that's going to conclude this one. Again, Tales from the Borderlands making a comeback on the PlayStation Store. Final Fantasy VII Remake, we'll see how that turns out. Ever Crisis has been trademarked, and that might be pointing towards something regarding the game. We'll keep you guys posted on that. Probably a lot of clarity to come February 13th. And Space Station Simulation Base 1 has been announced for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, X1, Switch, and PC. That's going to wrap up this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.